When peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever, my Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul, it is well with my soul, it is well, it is well, so and Lord, haste the day when my faith shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, the trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well, well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Oh, it is well, well with my soul. It is well, my soul.
Hello, happy Sabbath. I hope we're all doing well and we're having a blessed Sabbath wherever we are. And I welcome you to episode 8, safe flight, right? Episode 8 of A Story of Unfulfilled.
Episode 8 of A Story of Unfulfilled Dreams. So today we're going to look at a passage from 2 Chronicles chapter 6 for our introduction. 2 Chronicles chapter 6 from verse 7 up to verse 9. I'll read for you in your hearing. It says, Now it was in the heart of my father David to build a temple for the name of the Lord God of Israel. But the Lord said to my father David, Whereas it was in your heart to build a temple for my name, you did well in that it was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build the temple, but your son will come from your body. He shall build the temple for my name. I'm sure this is a story that is familiar with most of us. This is Solomon at the time when he's about to dedicate the temple that he had built for the Lord. So as he's dedicating, he reflects and says, you know what? My father wanted so badly to build this temple. But God said to David, you shall not build the temple for me. But it says it is well because it was within your heart to build a temple for me. So at times there are things that we want and we hope.
Sorry, forgive my network. So at times there are things that we want and we hope to do and achieve, but somehow stuff may not go as we plan. Not that we are bad people or not that there's anything wrong with us, but sometimes things just do not go according to our plan. And this was in David's case. He had this plan. It's a good plan to build the house of the Lord, but God said no. So today we are going to be looking at God's plan in our lives when God has another plan. Sometimes you feel you have it all figured out, you want your life to turn out this way, but at times God can just say no. It may be about you, it may be about whoever. Thank you, Sharon, for tuning in. Sharon, see you say Sabbath blessings for Thailand. Thank you, Sharon. So today we want to look at God's plan, seeing God's plan unfold in your life. Sometimes you have no clue, you think you have it all figured out, and it turns out, oh my goodness, it's exactly the opposite. So today, as always, I'm excited. I have a guest Ropafadzo Shaimani, who's coming all the way from Natron. So welcome, Ropa, to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're excited to have you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and share your story here with us. So, as we begin, I'm sure that some people will actually know you and some may not know you. Well, I know you, my friend, but let's talk about you. Who is Ropa? Who is Ropa Fadzishtaimani?
Okay, so my name is Ropafadzo Lisa Steinman. That's my full name. I stay in Norton with my family. I'm the third in my family, and I'm a student by the University of Zimbabwe. I am a very outgoing person. I'll probably say an extrovert. An extrovert. I'm passionate about things. I think I have a very strong personality. I like going out, I like adventure, I like things that really get me out of my comfort zone. What else can I say about me? I can also be a very intimate person, like in the sense that I don't like crowds. I like things that are like a small crowd, a few people. I like deep, meaningful conversations. Yeah, I'm an Adventist, born and bred in the Adventist family, and I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be
Wow.
that person.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah. You love things in summary, and it's all right. We all do. We all do. It's all right. Okay, so as you, the first time we heard, there's this show, the series called The Story of Unfulfilled Dreams. What comes to mind when you hear the title, A Story of Unfulfilled Dreams? What comes to mind?
Okay, so when I heard the title, A Story of Unfulfilled Dreams, right? I could relate to the topic. It's not something that I heard from a friend or a neighbor or something like that. It's something that I can relate to. Like I've had dreams before. I've dreamt of becoming this person. I've dreamt of doing A, B, C, D, and I know how it feels like to dream. I also know how it feels like to have those dreams unfulfilled. So it's something that I can strongly relate to, something that I've lived, that has happened to me, and that is something that I've experienced. So when I saw the topic, I was just like, I know that.
This is for me. This was for me.
That's
Like,
for me.
genuine.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's all right. That's perfect. Tell me something. As a young girl,
Uh-huh.
what did you see yourself becoming? What did you dream of? Who did you see Ropa to be when she's grown? You know, times when you're a little girl, sometimes you see yourself in the white dress and the white gown getting married. I know almost every white girl does that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's about the career. You know, what did you see yourself becoming?
Okay, so I'll be honest. When I was a little girl, I would see myself in a lab coat, white lab coat, and a stethoscope. I was hoping I don't mess that word up, but yes, I so wanted to be a
Everyone
doctor.
feels you. It says
Exactly,
everybody
I wanted
knows
to
they
be.
want him to be a doctor
Yeah, I wanted to
at
be
some
a
point.
doctor, in heels and the ponytail, business minded, ready to save lives. That was me. I also wanted to be this vibrant preacher in the Adventist church. Spiritually, I've always wanted to be this spiritual person, right? And socially, I've always seen myself getting married to this cute husband, having a beautiful family, a happy family, things like that. And then maybe I'll just say emotionally, I've always wanted to be a stable person, with the fact that we're living in a changing world where circumstances can just change or situations just change. So I've always wanted to be the strong person. I've always wanted to have a very strong personality. I did not want to be a weak person, and even up to now. So yeah, basically that was my plan.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'm just reading a comment from Jarachara. Says, ladies, you're beautiful. Thank you for the compliment. And more importantly, very articulate. I'm impressed watching from here. So yeah, um, yeah. So thank you. So I'm getting you wanted to be an emotionally stable person, going to get married to a cute husband. I told you that things. You wanted to be a doctor. So have you felt God's plan has always been clear for you. We're talking about God's plans right today. We said David plans, and he thought that was God's ideal for him, but it seems it was the other way. It was not him was going to do that. So growing up, you always thought that God's plan has always been clear to you when you were young. How easy has it been to find your purpose in life?
Okay, so I'll say there are aspects of my life I felt like God's plan has always been clear. For example, like my spiritual life, I've known my gift from the word go. I know I'm a preacher, and I like to pursue that. I'm pursuing that actually. It has always been clear. But then there are other parts of my life, other aspects of my life that I feel like it's been me taking a day at a time. It has not been clear, like other parts aspects of my life, whereby I feel like it has always been not so clear enough for me to just say my plan is A, B, C, D. It has always been very hazy. So I have always been taking one day at a time. But spiritually, I'll tell you, it has always been, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about the way your life has played out to be. You mentioned about wanting to be a doctor. Well, I'll stop tormenting you about getting married to a kid husband. You're not yet married. And what emotional stable. So I want to focus on on God's plan for your life. Have you seen it unfold? So please take us through like the significant detours you've had to go through. Like if your life is not yes it's taken the exact pathway you hoped it would. So if not, how has it been for you? Take us through those, you know.
Okay. So in primary school, I was this bright kid, happy, always like in the spotlight. I was very bright and I was very good in school apparently. So I went to understand Adventist. In our family, we've always been spiritual about literally everything. So my parents took me to an Adventist school, but getting a place there was actually a bit difficult, but I still managed to maneuver through. And I was one of the highest, like I had highest grades for interview, like one of the highest grades. And then I started school by Anderson, yeah. And then everything was okay. Form 1, I used to scoop awards almost every month. That
Wow.
was me. Yeah, Form 1, that was me. Form 2, the same thing. I was super good. Like I was determined, I was focused, I was good, just like that. I was also very spiritual. I remember being very spiritual at Anderson. And then come from Form 3, like the whole combination thing then came into the picture. So now we're to be sciences, commercials, arts, and stuff. And then I was like, I think for most teachers it was obvious, but come on, this kid is bright, so probably sciences. You know how it is. So yeah, I got into the science class. That was Form 3, and school was not as easy as Form 1 and 2. You know how it is. You're studying a new thing, chemistry, physics, you know, things are now just a bit difficult. And then it was now different. So like I said, I wanted to be a doctor. So with my friends, we're like, guys, let's do this. So we went to get our results as a crew, different cars, but then we still got there around the same time.
I'm sorry, you seem to have a network challenge from me.
Then we got our we got our
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We
results.
seem to have a network challenge from your end. But thank you, Mahadima. Selepa says we are here. And yes, thank you for being here. And Nikki M commented and said, beautiful ladies, blessed Sabbath. So I'm sure there's a network challenge from your end. But you know how it is, you know, you have your plan, you have your life figured out, and you think it's so certain. This is how my life is going to unfold. I'm just going to, like, there are people who've always been right all the time. Chingetai says, great show, ladies. The enthusiasm is contagious. Heavy Sabbath. Blessed Sabbath to you, Chenge. Thank you for tuning in. So, yeah, so this is Ropa. Super determined. She's ready to save lives. She's ready to save the world. So, but unfortunately, life does not always turn out to be exactly the way that we plan it to be. Like we mentioned, how in David's case, his plan was to his plan was to build the temple for the Lord, and that didn't happen. And it was a noble idea, and it was a noble idea. And you're thinking, how does God say no to such a plan? So, but somehow God
Hello?
did. And hello, thank you so much. So yeah, you're back, you're loud and clear now. So the last bit was when you went to get your O level results, you're thinking you ready. You're thinking you're getting your O level results together with your
Yeah.
crew.
hmm And then I'm getting my results. I'm actually realizing that I did very well. I did very well, but not in the subjects that I was that I was supposed to do very well. The ones that would take me to the dream, you know. Yeah, those ones were not like I got E's in those subjects, and yeah, that's when the struggle started. My teachers were like, you can't, if you failed to get A's in those subjects, you definitely will face challenges in the next stage, which is actually more difficult. So we tried to liaise with them. I remember my family being involved as well, pleading that we would what we would I would get into that class, but then it failed. And I know most people are probably asking, why did you probably say, actually don't, you should take commercials. I should take up commercials, of which I had not done commercials O level, right? So that was me starting math, economics, business studies. I had no idea. I literally
Oh
had
my
no
God.
idea of commerce. I did not do commerce. I was doing pure sciences, and all of a sudden I have to shift to commercials. So me being a bright student from the past and getting to a class whereby I was in the bottom one was like the worst experience for me. Like I was the worst student from being the best student to the worst student in the commercial class. Yeah, it was depressing. I remember crying in class several times because I couldn't, I couldn't cope with the idea that life had just changed like that. And the worst part was that my friends all got the combinations that they wanted and they proceeded. And I was the only one who had to change my direction. Right. And then results came out, and then yeah, results came out. I passed commercials. And then I had to proceed to university. So I applied, and then I got a place by the University of Zimbabwe. So someone talked me into doing banking and finance, and it's something that I embraced fully. I was like, I would love to do banking and finance. I had forgotten about the doctor thing. I was ready to move to something else. And then I remember them telling me, the university saying, I had to do business studies first. And then after doing business studies, they would screen us at around part 1, 2. And then we then screen to banking and finance, management, and marketing.
And marketing. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do this. And the criteria for choosing was actually statistics, right? That was the criteria. The course was stats. I was like, I did stats at A level and I passed, so I'm sure I can do it, right? And then I got there. We did our part 1. Come part 1, 2. We write our exams, and I was a bit confident. I knew I was like, God, this is what you have called me to be, like to be a banker, to be a finance person. And then I get there, we collect our results on the portal, and the surprise came. The surprise. I realized I had a grade that was below the standard for me to get into the finance class. And then it was
Again,
heartbreaking.
second heartbreak.
It was heartbreaking. It was, yes, it was familiar. So I hear people say a heartbreak from a relationship is painful, but hey, guys,
That was a serious heartbreak.
ah, this one takes the trophy. So I remember being so heartbroken, and the first thing that came into my mind was that my mom used to call me, hey, you banker. She instilled the feeling in me to say, you know what, you're going to do great as a banker. And then the next thing, how was I going to tell her that I didn't qualify to be in that class again? Right.
Hey,
So I actually remember we went to the university again, and then we tried to negotiate with department. We tried to negotiate to say, can I at least, can I try to switch back from marketing because they'd given me marketing? Can I switch back to banking and finance? And they were like, you can't. You know, we tried to negotiate. We tried everything. We looked for the links, the best links. And I remember we had it was terrible, and the link tried as well. They actually tried, but it still didn't work. I actually remember some people who had lower grades than I had in statistics. They actually managed to move from marketing to finance, but I still couldn't. And it really pained my heart. I remember I said I'm going to the university, and I'm going to give my last plea. If I have to cry, I'm going to cry, to get that program. I want it. This cannot happen to me again. I went there. I was so determined. I prayed. I'm like, Lord, this is my chance. I got to the department. I started talking to the lecturer, and she was like, "You need to understand, honey." They said they start being so nice, like the honey part, and you're like, "No, there's nothing to understand. I'm in pain." I was like, "Please, I promise, I'm going to do my best." But still, it didn't work. So she was like, "I'm so sorry. You have to take up marketing." It's a great program after all. I was like,
it's great, but it's not
and
what I
then yeah,
wanted.
and then I remember. Yes, that's the thing. And then I remember, if you've been by the University of Zimbabwe, you will realize, yeah, you know that they are those stairs by the library. You know those ones when you're coming from the faculty of commerce going up the library. I sat there and I remember crying, like seriously crying. I could see my tears on the stairs, like literally. I was so much in pain. I was like, what am I supposed to do to get what I want to do? Like, why does it have to be so difficult? Like, it was a very difficult time for me. I was so depressed. I remember the list of the marketing people. I was on top. It was being rubbed in that yes, you did not qualify. Things like that. And like always, like the previous time, all my friends, I used to hang out with these friends who also wanted to do banking and finance, and they managed to get banking and finance, except for me. I was the only one, like the four of us,
Again,
and I was the only one who had to go another direction, and it was painful. But oh well. Part 2 1, I was very depressed. I didn't attend 3/4 of the lectures the whole semester. I would be in my room most of the times. I would be crying. I was chased out. I didn't want anything to do with, I was done. I was chased out. I didn't want anything to do with, I remember some time going out with my friends. We're having a good time. We're having pizza and we're laughing, and I would just start crying. They'll be like, get over it already. They would sometimes actually get
yeah,
frustrated by me just crying all the time and being depressed. I would love to thank my family. They were there for me through that time. I would look myself in the mirror, and I hated the girl I would see there. I was like, you are a loser. You can't do this. Like, it was difficult. I was so depressed. And then part 2 1, funny thing, that's the semester that I did very well, like compared to all the semesters that that we had like previously. Part two comes, I do well as well. I was just like, you know what, I'm not just flowing and leaving, right? And then attachment time, it came and we had to start applying part three. That is part three. And then we had to start applying and stuff. And people were applying to different companies. I also tried to apply to many companies. I think 30, 30 or so. I applied to those companies. And then I got a reply. My first reply was at this company. I won't mention the name. I got there, and there it was on the sixth floor, and we had to go up without a lift. Yeah, like it was a punishment, guys. I was like, Lord, why? Of all the places, and my friends, they actually, it was terrible. And then I had to go there. I used to cry a lot. I think that's the period that I really cried a lot. And I used to continuously hold my phone. I had the hope that God was going to try and get me a place. So I didn't want to miss any call from any company. So I would always be holding my phone. And then this particular time, I go to the restroom just for a few minutes. I come back. That's when I miss a call from CMAS. I remember holding my phone. How did that happen? And then I check out in the group, in the marketing group from school in our class. I see people are just times, and I had no timeline, like because I had missed the call. So I was not even sure if it was the interview. But part of me really told me that it was because people were saying they'd been called for the interview. So it really broke my heart to say, why are these bad things happening to me? I remember coming back home. I told my mom, my parents, I was like, this is what happened. My siblings, I told them, they were like, so what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm going. I'm done losing. I'm done crying. I'm going there.
Nobody can stop you.
By thunder, by force, whatever. I'm going there. I'm done losing my mind. People are getting in one, one by one. And then everyone gets in. We're like 12. Everyone gets in except for me. And then the HR was holding this paper with a list, I assume. And she was like, sorry, how can we help you? How can we help you? I'm like, I'm here for the interview. Then she was like, what's your name? And then I told her my name. She was like, sorry, you're not on the list. And then I was like, I had to think fast. I was like, but you called me. Right? That part was very truthful. But you called me. That's all I said. But you called me for an interview. I was just praying they wouldn't say, let's see, because it was a missed call. So they would have argued to say it could be anything. It could be medical aid issues, you know. So they still said, get in, get in. And then I got in. And then they were like, okay. So the HR was like, this girl came, but she was not called. That's what she said. And then the other lady was part of the panelists was like, call the person with the short list so that we just confirm she's not on any list. So the person with the short list was called, and then she was like, she's there on the list, but on the HR list, like HR students. Then I was like, but I'm not doing HR, I'm doing marketing. I was all confident in it. And then they were like, you know what, just interview her. But I could tell from her face, she was saying, you know what, she's the last one, and she from the looks of things, she might not even make it. But I was like, you know what? I prayed a prayer that I even remember. And I was like, Jesus, this is my chance to shine. I remember, I remember trying like every nerve, everything that I knew. I put it into context. I tried to explain. I did my best. I remember getting out with my friends, and then we got out. My friends from class, and then we actually left, right? And then I think 2 hours later, they called me. They were like, report to the HR at 8 on Monday. And then I was like, already, I was not expecting it. And then they were like, yeah. And then they called everybody else, I think 4 days after. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I was so happy.
After
I did not
trying
end
to
up,
interview, you were not called for.
but the good thing, well, I would say, I did not end up working I did not end up working at CMAS. I then moved to Unilever. It was an opportunity that came along the way. So I would just say it's Unilever. It was a better opportunity. I liked it there, right? My bosses kept on encouraging me, and I slowly but surely I got out of that depression. That whole marketing idea. They kept on saying you're good at this, you're cut out for this. My family was there in the background. They were pushing. This is where you're supposed to be. I started being so comfortable in that space. And I remember participating in a competition at Unilever, the Ideas Trophy. We started
Oh no, we're losing you again. Oh no, we're losing you again. I'm sorry, I'm hoping the network thing will be corrected. But yeah, this is the story so far. She's been through a lot, as we can tell. And there are many comments that came along the way, and I could not read them. I know Mandela was like, shout out, Ishla and Ropa, you're doing a good thing. Thank you, Mandela. And Nicole, Nazrana, time to shine, that short and precise comments of claiming a divine promise. Yes, yes, Mandela. So yeah, it's funny how life unfolds from a place where she's like, I've been top of the class, and she fails to make it to the top of the class. She finds herself as bottom of the class. She accepts the fate. She gets university. Things don't really work out well. Again, you fail to make it into the banking class that you've said you've made peace with. And as if it's not enough now, even in the attachment, well, my understandings, she was always tired during those days. She couldn't because of the stays and stuff like that. But funny enough, God shows up in a weird way. She shows up to an interview where she's not even listed for. And that's the interview that she does well. Sometimes when we don't understand, just because we want this thing, we badly want it, we may fail to actually find the space that God has prepared for us. We may find our feet exactly where God has wants to. So I was trying to read the comments that came through. There were many comments. Nicole was saying, not network, not right now. And if I ready to hear the story. Sanders, when I say this is quite the story, like, wow. I know there's a guy who was like, I remember that interview that was done by basically Best Search says amen. Yeah, so yeah, this network it needs to be up. So yeah, Panashe Mkuza says she has a lot of great, very inspiring. Thank you, Panashe, for tuning in. So yeah, so here we are. Here at Unilever, we're just telling us about the Unilever adventures, and I understand this was last year, right?
yes, last year. And then yeah, we represented Unilever Zimbabwe. We're just the three of us, three girls. We represented Zimbabwe, Unilever Zimbabwe, and then we went on to represent Unilever Africa because we came out first in
Wow.
the Africa, the region competitions. We came first, and then we had to represent Unilever Africa at the like global level.
Wow.
Um, yeah, in London. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to go because of
Because
COVID.
of COVID.
So
Shame.
so we did virtually, which was super cool. And yeah, we're 24 teams from all over the globe. It was interesting. It was mind blowing. So the MD called us. He was like, "I'm super proud of you guys." He gave us a humongous gift. Like we were so happy. I was the face of Africa, girl. I was the face of Unilever, representing my country, representing my continent.
So tell me, Mbanga,
The
I mean, the
moment
stage
when you
must
feel
have
like
been
you're
one of your
singing.
teachers. Oh, I was saying Tab Mbanga. I think doesn't
Yes.
Mrs. Mbanga, she must have been one of your teachers. Says Ropa has always been confident. And Tanyana Zagaradze says, I'm inspired. This is inspiring. So yeah, Mandela says COVID is a spoiler. And one thing for sure, Ropa has never been outside Zim. This was the first time was gonna be outside Zim. I was going to London for that
Oh no.
competition. And she
Yes,
fails to come.
sir. And then it was so painful, but you know, and then yes, it was so at that moment. That's when I realized that what, we plan, God decides. That's how it is. Sometimes you have this planned, but then God has a better plan. I don't think I would have been so comfortable comfortable in that white lab coat and stethoscope as I am right now in my heels and a suit. You know, it's a new dream. I'm loving it, and I feel like this was the best plan after all. I think that's
Wow.
basically the story.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this. And it's amazing how it's like now God confirms during this hard COVID times, and now you're making it. You're the first of Unilever. It's like you're cementing. You've been trying to run away from this, but this is what I've made for you. This is what you're made for. And there you are shining,
Yes.
and they are confident. So now take me back to that time when you said you sat down by those stairs, depressed, crying the whole time. And even when you'd go for pizza with friends, you'd be in tears. You're like, what? You feel like you're a loser. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you feel like you're a failure and stuff like that. During that
Yeah.
period, did you struggle with your capabilities and your self-worth? What kept you like what lessons have you learned during this experience? Let's start with that. Did you start,
Okay.
like you mentioned, you thought you were a loser? What lessons did this experience teach you? What did you garner in the process?
Okay. This that the my story, right, taught me that life is a way of changing when we least expect it, right? So things can change when you that's life. That's how it is. And as a people, we need to have adaptability. We might have IQ, EQ, emotional intelligence, but we also need AQ, adaptability. Like when things go the other way, we need to be ready to embrace what is in front of us at that particular time. That's one. Number two, then the other lesson learned is that, like I alluded earlier, to say we plan, God decides, right? Sometimes we may plan want to go this way and God is another way for us. We need to just learn to embrace that. And then the other thing is also that sometimes what might seem like a great disappointment can turn out to be God's blessing in disguise. We might not know it in the situation, but when we're past it, when we look back, you can actually pinpoint to say, Lord, I see your hand in A, B, C, D. So for me, those are some of the lessons that I learned, to say it's not that God is cruel. He's not too bad a person to make us suffer. He's too wise to be mistaken. You know that song. He's too good to be unkind. When we can't trace his hand, we should at least trust his heart.
Hard. Yeah, true. So Sharon says you may not be assigned to healing in God's vineyard, but called to marketing for God. Embrace your calling. Shine, Roba, shine. Thank you, Sharon. See you.
Uh,
Patience Magidi says, love the story. At least you can marry a cute doctor. Well, I'm not sure if there are cute doctors out there. Lindy Nyati also said, Amen. God always has a plan. And Sandra Suela says, God has a bigger picture for us. God has a picture for us. Kalyaman says this following, says Nyagash. So yeah, so uh, I'm actually amazed by your grit, your strength, and all this. At times you lose your mind. You lose your mind as you go through all this. So tell me
mhm.
something. As you now found yourself in this new space, as you find yourself even along this story. Oh, one thing that I also want us to emphasize on, that especially parents at times fail to realize, I've been a victim. One thing that I also learned from your story is that childhood depression is real. Childhood depression is real.
Mhm.
So many times we people fail to pick it, and they're just like, no, just pick yourself up, just move on. But look at you failing to
Yes.
attend, to show up for lectures. Three-quarters of your
Mhm.
lectures, Mandela says, oh yeah, and what we see is always, oh, that moved quickly. Okay, so yeah, the dream isn't totally forgotten. So
Mhm.
I was saying childhood depression is real, and at times parents may fail to pick it. And I
Mhm.
think because of our African culture, sometimes
Mhm.
we just like, no, pick yourself up, gloves up. No, I think it's important that we acknowledge that someone is in pain. Yes,
Mm.
someone. We all many people wanted to be doctors and they failed to be doctors. But you, as an individual, you feel you failed to achieve what you wanted to do. It's okay to
Yeah.
cry, to go through the motions,
Mhm.
and then you pick yourself up and we move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we go on now, you've learned these lessons. So what kept you going? What kept you motivated? I know that you're this lows, this really lows. Well, some of us, when we saw you, we just saw this girl as if always smiling. We had no idea you were going through all this, you know. So,
Mm,
what kept you going? What kept you motivated in all this?
I'll probably say my family. Oh, you guys, I have an amazing family. Like they would call all the time, they would send these verses, they would do everything they could to make sure that I was okay. They allowed me to cry whenever I wanted. I was open to them. I'm not okay, and they would allow me to actually cry. My sister Rufara, she's the best sister. She
Oh,
would call me all the time, to make sure I'm okay. Like it was I needed it and she provided it. And I also say I think God did not leave me through the pain completely. Time and again, He would put in these little blessings and these little achievements that would keep me going to actually say, you know what, I think there's a God in heaven who still cares. So you remember that part 2, I did not attend the lectures, I was depressed, but that's the semester I did very, very well. Like, like better than all the semesters, right? So there were always these little, to just keep me going. So yeah, I think that kept me going. And also some of my friends would show up for me as well. They would call etc. And then music has always been my go-to when I'm depressed. So I would listen to songs like Trust God's Heart, the songs that I was talking about. And also uh Blessings, Laura Story. You know that
yeah,
song,
no,
right? Yes, so that
yeah.
was also my go-to song. Yeah. So basically, I'll say my family, my friends were there for me. I had a very strong support system. I would actually say that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mandela says, yeah, sure, you'll do wonder if Ropa even knows how to frown. The cheerfulness is contagious. And Nazlana says, ultimately, God is faithful indeed. God is faithful indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yes.
says we get towards the end of our show. If you're to find someone today, I'm sure we all have our struggle. The reason why we are sharing this is not because we want to glorify gloom. We want to glorify things that don't go away. No, we want to
Mm-hmm.
bring how God still is in control in spite of what we go through. So if you're to
Mm-hmm.
find someone who's struggling with doors closing for them, they're struggling to find what God's plan for them really is. What would you tell them? What would you tell someone going through that?
Okay, if I'm to find someone who's going through what I went through, I'll tell them that you know what, it's okay not to be okay in that situation because it is painful. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to be vulnerable to God, to pray, to say, God, I'm not okay. So allow yourself to be vulnerable to your friends, to God, that's one. Number two, no matter how hard it gets, never give up. It's not the end of the world. There's a God has a greater plan. And all you just have to do is to keep pushing no matter how painful it is. It is painful in the process. But trust me, one day God will surprise you. And when you look back, you'll be happy at the person you will be at that particular time. Like now, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'll be like, yeah.
I'll be like, that's your girl.
So yeah, I feel like don't give up. If you're going through the same, don't give up. God is still in control. He's too wise to be mistaken. He's too good to be unkind. He probably has something in plan for you. All you have to do is to hold on and get to the bottom of what he has, particularly for you. His plan for you. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much. So let's, Maxim says, Amen. Sometimes God speaks to us through pain, and there are lessons to be learned in that season. Amazing story, Roba. Thank you, Maxine, for following through. Yeah. So as we get to the end now, if you could be in conversation with your younger self, maybe from that 8-year-old who wanted to be a doctor to that 15-year-old who didn't get A's in the subjects they hope they would. That version of Ropa who felt getting to banking and finance. If you could be in conversation with your younger version, what would you tell him?
Okay. If I would have a conversation with little Ropa, right? Form 4. I'll start with Form 4 after getting my results. I'll probably say it's not the end of the world. there is more to life. There is more to life than a lab coat and a stethoscope. I'll
Yeah,
probably, yeah.
I've been seeing doctors commenting right here. Doctors, you guys still rock. In case Robert undermines you, yes, synopsis. But yes, there is still more to life than the stethoscope.
Yes,
Than the stethoscope.
yes,
Left.
yes. And then maybe after the whole struggle to get into banking and finance, I'll probably say you're still enough, be strong, go on, don't give up. God has a plan for you, greater than what you can imagine. I would say all those things. Yeah, I think
Wow.
basically that's what I would say.
Wow. That's amazing. Yes, Mandela says, leave the left court and stethoscope out of this. We have left. I had to put the disclaimer. It's okay. We will be waiting for the publishing of your autobiography. Such a journey deserves a book. Thank you,
Oh
Panache.
my
So
word.
yeah, listen, girl, we stayed at the same house during your party, and I never knew you were going through all this. Ever happy. It's amazing. But,
No.
so I researched someone that says when you look at Daniel and his friends after they were thrown in the fire, as
Yeah.
they were called out, the king tried to smell them, and none of them smelled like smoke.
Yes.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing how God has a way of not making us look like what we've been through.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
people like they will ever cheer for Ropa. We have no idea she was going through all this, but God
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make us look like what we've been through, and that's amazing, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so thank you so much, Ropa, for agreeing to be part of our show and for having us learn so much from your experience. What would be your parting words to the audience out there? What should be your parting words?
Um, thank you everyone who tuned in. Some of you, like from the comments, like I know most of you actually commented, and you're part of the reason why I kept on going. Well, not directly, but indirectly. The hugs, the you're looking well, the encouragement. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone um who actually managed to listen and like and comment. Yeah. And also, I would like to say to those who are going through a lot, God is still in control, and He has a plan for everyone. So it might feel like you're going through the most. It might feel like you're sinking. It might feel like God doesn't care, but He does, and He can locate you, and He can see you right now. It's a matter of time when He shows up for you, and when He does, it's a surprise. You will like it. You will love it, and you'll be very grateful. Yeah, you actually forget everything that has happened in the past, and you feel like this is the best. This is the best life ever. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Ropa, for agreeing to come and be vulnerable with us and share us this dark side of you. Like men are saying, we have no idea you're going through all this, and probably some person you learned with in high school was like, it's just something small. They didn't know it actually had this kind of impact in your life. So yeah, as we come to a close of episode 8, Tabitha Pangame says, wishing you God's blessings shine for him always. Yes, keep shining for him always. So as we come to the close of our program, I want to read a quote from the Desire of Ages, page 224, paragraph 5. This is talking about the death and imprisonment of John. The last paragraph says, God never leads his children otherwise than they will choose to be led if they could see the end from the beginning and discern the glory of the purpose which they are fulfilling as co-workers with them. So, God never leads his children otherwise than they will choose to be led. I'm sure if you look back right now in your life, you'll be like, I wouldn't have chosen it otherwise. It was painful in the
Yes.
process. Yes, of course, during the time. But when you look back, he leads us in a way that is not so much, that is not otherwise what would have chosen if we were in his place. So he has our best
Yeah.
at heart. So yeah, thank you so much. Nazrana says, God bless you continuously, Ropa. Thank you for this program and God bless you too. Thank you, Nazrana. God bless you too. So Mandela says, I enjoyed. Thank you, Ropa. God there and keep shining. So yeah, thank you so much, Sharon, again. Amen. I can testify blessings and God's leadings always. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. This has been fun. And thank you for being vulnerable, like I mentioned. So
as we're getting to the last to the end of our program, we meet sometime, same place, 3 p.m. Terrifying Fulfilled Dreams, with more stories that are enriching and more to learn from each other. It's easy to learn to say David did this during the time of during his time and stuff like that. But when you see someone like me who's also gone through what I'm thinking is a struggle, it's actually it's encouraging to say, okay, there's hope. I can still get out of this hole that I think I'm in. So yeah, thank you so much. This marks the end of episode 8. From me, Ursula Nora and Ropafadzo. Till we meet again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When peace like a river are tended away, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever, my Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well. So my soul. And Lord, haste the day when my faith shall be sight the cloud.